Hey y'all, it's Criminalist Behavior Podcast, and I'm your host, Sarah Studier, and today we're on episode number 22, and this is the third part of the infamous Bayou Strangler, aka Ronald Dominique. And he was an American serial killer and rapist who murdered at least 23 men and boys in the state of Louisiana between the years of 1997 and 2006. If this is your first time listening, again, my name is Sarah Studier, and I'm your host for Criminalist Behavior Podcast. Trigger warning, this episode may contain content of a graphic nature, including sexual and graphic nature, physical violence against adults, children, and animals. Listener discretion is advised. So Ronald was a troubled man. I was going to say young boy, but I mean, whatever. He's a troubled young man, and he grew up in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and he was not really finding his place in the world, and then he joined a local Lions club, and he attended bingo every night, and spent his nights at bars, preying on these young men, and pretty much got all his victims by promising them a place to stay, drugs, or to have sex with a supposed girlfriend that was in his camper trailer. And all of that was just so he could take advantage of them, rape them, and murder them by strangulation. He also dropped all these bodies in remote areas, on the bayou, on roadways, cane fields. I mean, he was just despicable. He is charged with the 23 murders that people are aware of. And those 23 young men also come to Ronald Dominique. And I'm going to just go ahead and mention the ones we talked about, as we covered 22 of the 23 victims. And this episode, I'm going to go in depth on the 23rd victim and a little more aftermath on Ronald Dominique. So victim number 1 was 19-year-old David Mitchell. He was found in July 1997 in St. Charles Parish. Gary Pierre was victim number 2 at age 20, was found December 1997 in St. Charles Parish. Larry Ranson, 38 years old, was victim number 3, found in St. Charles Parish on July 31st, 1998. Victim number 4 is Oliver Banks, 27 years old, found in Metairie, also Jefferson Parish, and he was found on October 1998. Joseph Brown was victim number 5. He was the youngest of all these victims at age 16 in Kenner, also Jefferson Parish, also found October 1998. Bruce Williams was victim number 6 at age 18, found in Jefferson Parish on November 1998. Manuel Reed was victim number 7 at age 21, found in Jefferson Parish in Kenner, Louisiana in May 1999. Angel Mejia, 34-year-old, was victim number 8, found in Kenner, Jefferson Parish, June 1999. Victim number 9 was Mitchell Johnson, 34-year-old male, found in Metairie in Jefferson Parish in August of 1999. And 23-year-old Michael Vincent was victim number 10. He was found in Lafourche Parish, and that was in January of 2000. So now we're going to get to victim number 11. I know this is a lot, y'all. Just bear with me. Victim number 11 was 20-year-old Kenneth Randolph Jr. He was found in Lafourche Parish in October 2002. And a little side note, if y'all hear all of this ruckus that apparently trucks just want to keep passing by and making all these rude noises, just disregard it. So victim number 12 was Anoka Jones. He was found in Houma, which is Terrebonne Parish. He was 26 years old, and he was found on October 12, 2002. 19-year-old Datrell Woods was victim number 13, found in Bayou Blue, Louisiana. Also, that is on the Terrebonne Parish side, and that was May 24th, 2003. If you're not familiar with Bayou Blue or Louisiana and the parishes, Bayou Blue, some of it is part of Terrebonne Parish and other parts are part of Lafourche Parish. But this in particular with Dottrell was in Terrebonne Parish. Larry Matthews was victim number 14, 46 years old, found October 2004 in Terrebonne Parish in Bayou Blue. Michael Barnett, 21 years old, was victim number 15, found October 24th, 2004 in Bayou Blue, Terrebonne Parish. Leon Leratz, who was also known as T-Bud, and this is my brother's, best friend. He was 22 years old and victim number 16, found in February 2005, and he was found in Terrebonne Parish in Houma, Louisiana. Augustus Watkins, 31 years old, found in Lafourche Parish in April 2005, victim number 17. Kurt Cunningham was victim number 18 at 23 years old, found again April 2005 in Lafourche Parish. Victim number 19, Alonzo Hogan, 28 years old, found in July 2005 in St. Charles Parish. Victim number 20 was Wayne Smith, and he was 17, second to youngest victim, and he was found in Terrebonne Parish in August of 2005. Victim 21, Chris DeVille, age 40, found in Assumption Parish in September of 2005. Victim number 22, which I knew personally and was such a brave and great soul with a beautiful smile. He was 21 years old, Nicholas Pellegrin. He was found in November 2005, and that was in Lafourche Parish in a Kingfield. And now we're on the last victim, 23-year-old Christopher Sutterfield. I'm sorry, I said 23. He's 27 years old. He's victim number 23, and his name is Christopher Sutterfield, and he was found in Iberville Parish. And Ronald Dominique did not get caught because, they really wasn't worried about these victims that were being murdered because of their transient lifestyle. Some of them with prior arrest records, some of them with known drug and sex work, and they were just problematic. So there was no hope in wasting precious resources in determining the cause of their deaths, which is complete BS. So now, like I said, we're going to get on victim number 23. 27-year-old Christopher Sutterfield. He was Dominique's last confirmed victim. The body of Christopher Sutterfield was found Sunday, October 14th, 2006, lying on the ground near a used boat launch on Louisiana Highway 69, which is right outside of White Castle, Louisiana. Authorities would not say whether Sutterfield was wearing clothes or shoes, and they said that detectives are still unsure if the spot where his body was found was a dump site or someone used that after killing the 27-year-old elsewhere. He was bisexual, and he had met Dominique in the summer of 2006, and they began having a relationship and began dating. And on October 14th, 2006, while on a date together in Iberville Parish, Ronald Dominique just took it upon himself to hit Christopher Sutterfield in the head with an unknown heavy object. And this caused Chris to lose consciousness. After finding his body, police interviewed Sutterfield's relatives, friends, and acquaintances, all who confirmed that they last seen him with a man driving a black SUV, but they were unable to describe his companion's appearance. Sutterfield's brother-in-law, William Massey of Thibodaux, stated that police contacted family members and informed them that the autopsy performed that following Tuesday, after the body was found, revealed that Christopher Sutterfield's cause of death was for asphyxiation by strangulation. And his death mimics that of all the other 22 victims that may be the cause from a serial killer believed to be preying on people who shared those similar characteristics. The transient lifestyle, drugs, sex work, or, just living on the streets, whatever the cause. And Sutterfield had an arrest record and that transient lifestyle. And according to police records, he lived on St. Charles Bypass Road for about a month. And then he was staying at a hotel in Houma, Louisiana, known as the Aber Motel, which is ratchet, y'all. Ratchet, drug, hooker, nasty. You could pay by the hour, just disgusting. You don't want to go to that hotel, motel, whatever you want to call it. It's just a cesspool of the city of Houma, and it needs to be abolished. That is all I got to say about that. So, Sutterfield was arrested in Terrebonne Parish in 2002 for disturbing the peace by intoxication. Records shown that he had previously been arrested in Lafourche Parish for theft, drugs, contributing to delinquency of a juvenile, disturbing the peace, shoplifting, aggravated battery with a dangerous weapon, and contempt charges. And most recently, before his death, Sutterfield was arrested in April for contempt of court. Excuse me. So, Christopher Sutterfield was jailed in Lafourche from March 16, 1999 to July 11, 2001. Those who knew Christopher stated that they find it hard to believe that anyone would ever want to hurt the young man. And for the past month prior to his death, the 27-year-old shared a room at the Aber Motel with his friend Leonard Allen and his girlfriend. And the girlfriend wished to not disclose her name in fear of her safety, which, again, obviously very, very understandable. So, Allen and his girlfriend said that Chris Sutterfield began dating another person that was, staying at the Aber Motel. And that person's name was Brandy Bambi Liner. She went by Bambi on the streets, and that was just her little nickname. The couple, Allen and his girlfriend, stated that they last saw Chris with Bambi Saturday night at the motel on US 90 in Houma, and that Chris was drinking. Bambi was the last one to see Chris, and she stated that he supposedly got into a black or blue truck with someone he called a friend. And the girlfriend said Bambi had no idea who it was in the truck, and that Chris just ran and got into the truck of a friend, and that he would just be right back. Well, that obviously was not the case, because he never returned. That was the last time anyone ever seen him. Part of the mystery surrounding the death includes a threatening telephone call that Chris received from someone by the name of Shardy, and it was about how Chris supposedly stolen $150 from him. And that is what Sutterfield's brother-in-law Massey was stating, that Chris received that threatening phone call. So they thought maybe that could have had something to do with it, that if he did steal that money, then maybe maybe they did that to teach him a lesson, or reputation, whatever the case is, because people are just downright nasty and disgusting. People kill for $5, like, stupid. Drug, reputation, your fucking male ego, like, whatever. So Alan's girlfriend confirmed Massey's story and stated that Chris had gotten harassing phone calls. He might have owed someone $150, and they said that they were threatening to kill him. So all evidence was placed that because supposedly Chris stole this money from this person of $150, that, well, they probably took his life for it. A woman who was Sutterfield's neighbor at the Aber Motel, who also asked to not be identified, stated that he was just a very friendly person, and he always gave people hugs. She stated that he was a real nice dude. He would drink and mess around with everybody, but in a playful way. He wouldn't harm no one. So he was just fun to be around, and just what it seems like to be like the life of the party. So the neighbor stated that she saw Chris Saturday night with Bambi, but she didn't see him get in a truck with anyone, as Bambi suggested. And local law enforcement went to the motel that Monday to question residents about Chris's whereabouts or any information in regards, including that neighbor, Alan, and his girlfriend. And the neighbor stated that they were asking if she knew him, if she saw him get in a car, was there other information that, you know, he might have mentioned about someone after him, his life in danger, whatever the case was. During their investigation of the Bear Motel, Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office arrested Bambi on drug charges. And Sheriff Jerry Larpenter confirmed that Bambi was arrested that Monday and was in custody Wednesday at Terrebonne Parish Jail on a $35,000 bond. And her arrest stated to not be connected with Chris Sutterfield's death. And to get someone to come out of the woodwork, he said, though he's not sure how much money he can come up with, I don't have nothing, but I'll come up with something. But what kind of price can you put on that? Authorities in Iberville Parish, where Christopher Sutterfield's body was found, had no suspects. They didn't know any leads, and they were still working with the multi-law enforcement agency task force that was actually finally created and was dedicated to investigating a long series of unsolved murders in the region. And obviously, with the press and all, you know, it was talk about the serial killer in the loose. So police released very few details about Chris Sutterfield's death, which was classified as a homicide, shortly after a person just discovered his body on the ground near a boat launch along a remote stretch of Louisiana Highway 69. So, according to Detective Blair Farabon, they stated that they were in the beginning stages of an investigation, and they were in contact with the task force and also Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. And they're basically, what they're doing is turning over every stone that they possibly can to determine what happened to Christopher Sutterfield. Is he linked to the serial killer? Is he linked due to that $150 that was supposedly taken and somebody put a hit out for his life? So they were just at a loss. 18 of Ronald Dominique's victims were black. Only 5 of them were white. And according to authorities, most lived a transient drug abuse lifestyle, roamed the streets under the moonlight, and none were physically overbearing, a product of the way that they lived their lives. Here you got a guy that doesn't look like a serial killer. He looks like every average Joe that you see walking on the freaking street. Y'all, he did. But you can't determine a serial killer, a killer, a person, whatever, just by the cover of the book. That's always taught in us to instill with us, don't judge a book by its cover. But yet, just because he looks like an average daily Joe, people walk past by him and he was this freaking horrible person. And his victims, when they left their homes, might leave the home for days or weeks and not be in contact with anybody. So I mean, that lifestyle of not always being in contact with someone, I mean, it'll be days or weeks or however long before someone be like, hey, I didn't hear from so-and-so in this amount of time. Wonder what's up? And then they keep trying to reach out, and then they might find some shady information, and then lo and behold, you finally file a missing persons report. And some of these cases went down like that, but others were not like that. I mean, some of them reported it missing immediately. And several of these victims were looking for money to survive, drugs, or maybe even sex work. And they just had these issues. Several of them had these drug problems. And according to Sheriff Larpenter with Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. Thank God he's not our sheriff anymore. But this dude literally said this. These victims all went for days or weeks and not contact anybody because they were looking for money to survive. And by survive, he meant that they had drug problems. Several of them had drug problems and priors. and their lifestyles led them to their demise. Their lifestyles led them to their demise. No, you freaking idiot. What led them to their demise was this prolific serial killer out on the loose, just preying on all these victims. That's not what led them to their demise. That's like saying somebody shot me and because I was in that location, I mean, that's my fault. What? When you gonna stop victim blaming? When you gonna put it into the responsibility of this fucking dude is a serial killer? No. So, in November of 2006, Dominique came under police suspicion after Ricky Wallace, a resident of Bayou Blue, reported that Dominique had lured him to his trailer in mid-2006 with an offer to share drugs and have sex with a girl. After Ricky Wallace entered the trailer, according to his own testimony, Dominique tried to convince him that his girlfriend enjoyed bondage, offering to tie Ricky up. Ricky refused, and soon after, he was allowed to leave. His testimony was questioned at first because he was also known as that transient lifestyle, a drug addict, and he repeatedly lied in the past. But Dominique was questioned by police. While he was held at the station, Dominique agreed to donate a blood sample. Now, if you know anything about the past in some of these cases, there was no evidence left behind. So, except in like a couple of cases where he just started getting sloppy and there was semen found. And so this is why detectives wanted to compare Dominique's DNA to the semen that was found in a couple of the cases whenever things started getting sloppy. So over the next week, DNA testing matched Ronald Dominique's profile with that of the elusive killer who had left behind semen on the bodies of Oliver LeBancs and Manuel Reed. And this is what granted them the arrest warrant for Ronald Dominique. On December 1st, 2006, Ronald Dominique was arrested at a homeless shelter. After he was arrested, he told police that he knew it was just a matter of time before he was captured, so he had moved out of his sister's house in order to not inconvenience her. Yeah, you don't want to inconvenience your sister, but what about the lives of these young victims? What about the families that have to be without their son, brother, uncles, dads? What about them? The hell with your sister. No offense, but your way of thinking is just all freaking not. No, I can't even get the words out. This dude gets under my skin so bad, and because I was personally involved in one of these cases, it really does not get better with time, because it still pisses me off that this dude is still alive. He's still alive. He's still able to breathe. He's getting a free room and board with meals 3 times a day and living his freaking life in a jail cell. Once at the police station, Ronald Dominique expressed his desire to cooperate with investigators, and he readily confessed to the 23 murders. He described them with details known only to the officers, and as a result, the charges were brought against him. However, despite his confession, Ronald Dominique refused to admit guilt in the attacks. He stated that most of his victims, due to their addictions and other factors, had voluntarily agreed to be tied, handcuffed, and treated similarly since they wanted to earn money. If the potential victim refused to do so, he'll let them go without harming them. So this dude said it's not his fault, it's the victim's fault, because they went willingly with him and allowed him to tie them up. Huh? Bro, your screws is loose. Concerning his motive, Dominique claimed that he wanted to get rid of any witnesses as he was unwilling to serve a prison sentence again. According to him, after he got arrested in 1996 for a rape case, he was strongly impacted by that arrest, and he remained in constant negative emotional states and even began to show symptoms of a mental disorder. This idiot wants to fucking prove that he is mentally incapacitated. What? You want to take a crazy plea? Let me compose. So Ronald Dominique would often stalk his victim for days, learning their routines and vulnerabilities before he made his move. His methodical approach allowed him to evade law enforcement and continue his reign of terror for an extended period of time, striking fears into the hearts of the local communities. And because obviously this happened in several different parishes and locations, it took him a while before they actually caught on. So Dominique lured his victims, who were mostly young men, with promises of money or drugs. He then sexually assaulted and strangled them, often dumping their bodies in remote areas of the bayou. The motive behind his crimes is really not entirely clear. However, according to some of these sources, Dominique claimed that his victims had raped him and he was just seeking revenge. So you want to plead that you did it because you were trying to save yourself because they wanted to rape you? Get the hell out of here. Like, what? Some of these men were not even gay or bisexual. No. What? But they wanted to rape you? Did you see yourself? Did you check yourself in the mirror? Like, come on. Get over it. That's just not... I can't believe that. Other sources stated that he just targeted vulnerable individuals, such as the homeless man who was less likely to be missed. Figure with their transient lifestyle, as police quoted it, well, if I kill this, ain't nobody gonna miss them, ain't nobody gonna report this, I could get away with it. So Ronald Dominique's childhood and adolescence were marked by poverty, bullying, and just overall low self-esteem, which may have contributed to his violent behavior. Ronald Dominique claimed that his victims raped him, and that's just wrong. The exact details of how he committed his murders are not widely known, and according to some sources, he would lure his victims, to his car or home where he would sexually assault them before strangling them to death. And it is difficult to determine the exact reaction of the community to Dominique's crimes, because it is just safe to assume that the community was shocked and horrified by the extent of his crimes. The murders also highlighted the issue of violence against the LGBTQ community. And as many of Dominique's victims were gay, there were some that were not. And the vulnerability of the marginalized individuals in society is just wrong. So Dominique's victims tended to be teenagers and men aged between 16 and 46, but not all of them were, like I said, homosexual. Most of them were of African American descent, and Dominique was found guilty and sentenced to several terms of life imprisonment without parole. You better not, because I promise you, he's got a ticket. He's got a ticket on his head. Ronald Joseph Dominique was arrested December 2006 after the man reported him, and that was Ricky Wallace, and he escaped Dominique, and that's whenever Dominique confessed. Said it was only a matter of time before he got caught. So it is not clear where Ronald Dominique showed any remorse of his actions, and following his conviction, this freaking douche canoe had the audacity to sit there and apologize to the family of all these victims. Oh, you want to apologize now? Why? You think that's going to give you some leniency? Is that going to make it right for you? Is that going to be okay? The hell with your apology, because I wouldn't dare accept that shit. No, boo. No. Ronald Joseph Dominique, also known as Bayou Strangler, was found guilty and sentenced without parole. He is currently serving his life sentence at the Louisiana State Penitentiary in Angola. And y'all, if y'all don't know what Angola prison is like, I mean, yes, it is a prison, but damn. They have this thing, and y'all could Google this, the Angola Rodeo. This happens in the early summer months like April and May, and then also in the fall months in October, September, all that area. But they actually have craft shows, and the prisoners get to freaking make money, communicate with the freaking public. Like, this is how they shouldn't see the light of day. Their victims don't get to see the light of day. Their victims don't get to make any money or do any crafts or anything, or have free room and board and eat 3 meals a day with a hot fucking shower. No. Ronald Dominique, especially, should not be able to be in that damn prison just living his life. He's living his best life. He ain't even gotta work, y'all. He doesn't have to work. He could just live his best life and communicate and just live his life. All you gotta do is abide by, stay in your cell, wake up, rec time. What? No. As part of a deal that prosecutors had with Ronald Dominique, to avoid the death penalty, he stood in a courtroom and he pleaded guilty to 8 counts of first-degree murder. District Judge Randy Bethencourt sent the 44-year-old Dominique at the time to Louisiana State Penitentiary for 8 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Ronald Dominique would never again be able to stalk, rape, and slaughter his human prey out in society. But his dire deeds forever impacted the LGBTQ community, as well as all these different small communities in Louisiana. And his lethal legacy will remain chilling. Despite the number of victims, his arrest received little publicity outside of state media. Like, y'all, no. I am sorry for the few choice words you may have heard, but this dude pisses me off all the way. So, the bond for Ronald Joseph Dominique was set at $8 million. And like I said, he grew up in a rural neighborhood in Thibodaux, Louisiana. His family was poor, and like they just was living life. Very church-going people, according to all these various sources. I'm referring to his mother and his father. And his sister was just trying to help him. And this is what he did. He unleashed his wrath on society because of how he grew up being teased and bullied, and just because he was just a freaking weirdo. Anyways, there are several documentaries available on the Bayou Strangler, and one of them is Serial Killer Ronald Dominique, aka the Bayou Serial Killer crime documentary, and that documentary provides an overview of Dominique's life and crimes. It is available on YouTube, and it has a runtime of about 1 hour and 14 minutes. There's a podcast, well, there's several podcast episodes, but one in particular is Ronald Dominique, the Bayou Strangler, and that podcast episode provides an in-depth look at Dominique's life and crimes. It's also available on YouTube and has a runtime of 36 minutes and 9 seconds. So it's literally just a glimpse of Ronald Dominique. Serial Killer Ronald Dominique Joseph, aka the Bayou Strangler crime documentary, is another one, and that documentary provides a detailed account of Dominique's crimes, and it is available on the Daily Motion and has a runtime of 43 minutes. I do believe that Morbid, I love Morbid, oh my god, Elena, and yeah, love them, but Morbid did an episode on, well, a couple episodes on the Bayou Strangler as well. Snapped, I believe, may have Crimes and Consequences, and Crime Junkie, I believe, also did that. Those are your little podcasts. I love those. I faithfully listen to all of them. So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all so much. And this episode is a little shorter than normal. And I mean, this is the third part of the Bayou Strangler, aka Ronald Dominique. If y'all have any further information in regards, if y'all have comments, questions, concerns regarding this case or any other case, please feel free to shout out You can email the podcast at criminalbehaviorpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find Criminalist Behavior Podcast on all your favorite social medias or your podcast apps. If you enjoyed our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Wondery, wherever you listen. And please like, rate, and review us, y'all. Follow us, subscribe. Until then, this is your host, Sarah Studier, and I hope y'all have a wonderful, glorious day. And with the Bayou Strangler. That is all. Thank you.